Hi guys, today's job isn't so much a blacksmithing job as a job that will help out blacksmithing eventually. It's a centre finder. Don't all moan at once. I know you've all probably seen them before, but I wanted to make one for myself for a long while. So I thought while I'm doing it, I might as well video it. And I'm going to start with this bit of scrap, a bit of inch by half, some old Allen headed bolts, 8mm. Don't know what they came from, been kicking about for ages. Little grub screw, 6mm grub screw, and finally this is the end off a scriber. It's nice and hard, but I don't use it anymore, so I just cut the end off it. But you could quite easily just as easily use a broken twist drill or a broken tap, anything like that. Something that's a bit hard. You can get a nice good point on it. So first thing we've got to do is find the centre. So I'm going to do it my traditional way, which is without a centre finder. I use these, well, I call them odd legs, I don't know, odd calipers, and these are old and knackered. You can see I've welded a twist drill on there just to use as a scribing point, and welded a little foot on the bottom of this side to guide it along the bar. So I'm going to find the centre with that, which is what I normally do. Can't really see it very well. Doesn't normally go as many times, but I'm just doing it so you can see. Turn it around and do the same from the other side to get the exact centre. And as you can see, it's not, because there's two lines there. But that's pretty close for me. My tolerances, I'll go between the two. That should be bang on the middle. So I'll mark some of the holes. And first off, I suppose I'd better find the halfway in from the end. So I'll do the same distance as from the end as it is to the middle. And put my first centre punch. Now from there, I'm going to mark my other hole. I want a gap of about 45mm, because I use 40mm flat regularly for railings and things, which is this tool's going to come in handy for. So I'm going to set it about 45, giving myself a bit of play. So just about see that set at 45. Well, that way around you probably can. And then, because these bolts are 8mm, I've got to add an 8mm onto that. So it'll take us to 53. I'll tighten it up there, and that's where I'm going to put my second hole. I'm going to use the first hole as a guide, and then just gently put a tiny little mark there. You can see that. That's where my second hole is going to go. So we can centre punch that. Now the most important hole is the one in the middle. So that's got to be, obviously, halfway between the two. So let's just check it actually, make sure it is still 53. Yeah, it looks pretty good to me. Yeah, that ain't bad. So half of that, it's going to be what, 26.5. So we're going to knock that down to 26.5. Lock it off again, and then just go from one of the holes to the centre, just a tiny mark, and then just to make sure it is in the centre, go from the other side, mark the other side, and as you can see, well, this camera will focus. Well, you can see even though it's not focused. Will it, won't it? Yeah, yeah, there you go. You can see those two marks came together, so that should be spot on the middle. So centre mark that. So there we go, that's the marking done. We're going to put 8mm in the ends, and whatever this is, actually it's not 8mm in the ends, I'm going to put 6.8, which is 8mm tapping size. And this is, what's that say? It's a smeg under 5mm, just a gnat's under 5mm, so I'll find myself a drill the same sort of size. So, go to the drill press, start drilling them. Now put them in this little hand vice sort of thing. I want to try and get them fairly straight and upright. So I'm going to put this drill is just a gnat's bigger than the bit I'm going to use in the centre. So it should give it just a little bit of play. Actually, this drill is completely blunt. That's really struggling. I think I'm going to take that out, quickly touch that up, and there, by the beauty of video, you didn't even see me do it, but I've touched that up. Bit more jollop. Really good stuff, this. Cutting paste, that's better. Oh, that's cutting much better. Quick touch up on the flat disc. You want to try and get these as accurate as you can, because it will make a difference. You really want to make sure that they all are in the right place. It's worth taking a little bit of time. And if you've got a bit of bright bar that's got nice sharp edges, that would probably be much better to do it with, but I haven't got any kicking about. This is all I've got, and as you know, I just use what I've got kicking about. So we're going to put 6.8 in. 6.8 is tapping size, or for 8mm, or 1764, it's the same sort of size for 8mm. Flip through these, both ends. That's a much sharper drill, and then just give that centre one a little touch. Take the sharp edge off. Actually, just going to do the same on the bottom there, just take that edge off. Right, what's next? Oh yeah, what I forgot to mention, we've got to put the hole in for the side, for the grub screw. So what I've got to do is just quickly whip over and scribe that down from the centre hole and punch it, as if by magic. If it will focus again, there you go, you can see I've punched it, but I've just put a line down from the centre of the hole just to get it in line. And then we're going to put the 6mm tapping size drill through there, which I haven't got a clue what it is. I've got a Zeus book somewhere, but if I can't be bothered to get that out, I'll just put a drill through a nut. Good enough for my job. I know it's not accurate, but for my tolerances, I'm not an engineer. Now, you want to go steady when you get towards the centre of the hole, or towards breaking into the other hole, because this drill is about the same size as the hole you're going into. If you're not dead on the centre, or even if you are dead on the centre, if you plough through too quick, that's going to catch up and snap that drill like a carrot. So you want to go really gently. You can tell when you're just about to break through, it slightly gets easier, and then just you get a little bit of vibration as it's breaking through. There, you can just see it now, broken through. Just go very gently into the hole. That's it, we're in. Get rid of the swarf. Again, if it will focus, it doesn't takes its time, but you can see there, you can just see through there that it's broken in to that hole quite nicely. Just going to put a drill through there to try and take that burr out. I think I'll have to put it in this drill. I'll just quickly run that through, just take the burr off where it's broken through. Done. Sorted. Right, let's go and do some tapping. So I'll stick it up in the bench vise, got an ordinary 6mm tap, bit of jollop, and then just start off very gently, just get it to bite, and then check it for upright in both directions. Just a little bit back that way. Check it again. That's not bad for both directions for me. And then you can wind away. Excuse me. I ought to be using a spiral float tap for this so that the swarf comes out upwards, but this is a spiral point which sends all the swarf downwards into the hole, which is great for through holes, but blind holes it's not quite so good. But in this case we've got a bit of room down there for the swarf to collect. Just go gently when you get to the bottom so you don't suddenly come to a stop and snap it. Get the swarf out the hole. I think I'm going to have to poke something through there. You can see it's all collected in that hole. So if I get the bit that's going in there, just poke that out. You can see the little bits just collecting. So that's that one done. Now let's do the 8mm in exactly the same manner. Again, a bit of jollop, just start it off, just get it to bite, and then just check your levels both directions. You must get it straightened out on the first thread or so, because if you don't, you'll never straighten it. And then you can just whiz away, and you can see now the stuff coming out the bottom. I love these spiral points. They're really good. I use them more than I used to use spiral floats all the time, but these are so much easier to use and nicer to use. Don't quite know why. These are, I think these are Dormer's Blue Point. Quite expensive, but if you're doing a lot of tapping, they are good. I actually got a tapping machine which goes in the drill press, but as the majority of you probably haven't, so there's no point using it, because this is how you lot are going to be doing it, or a lot of you. If you've got hundreds of holes to do, then the tapping machine is a handy little tool in the drill press. Right, so that's them done. Focus time. It's not going to, is it? See if I can get back a bit. Anyway, you can tell it's all threaded. So let's start putting it together. Stick the grub screw in. Now I've made a balls up. That is a quarter Whitworth. Didn't even think when I picked it up. So that's not going to go in there because I've tapped it 6mm. So let me just go and see if I can find a 6mm one kicking about somewhere. There we go, but it's much too long, so I'll have to whip it down, cut half of it off. But for now, that's going in there lovely. Let's see, that comes into that hole nicely, right in the middle, bang on. So stick the other bolts in. So I'm not going to cut them or anything to start with. I'm just going to tighten them in. I'm not going to bother with any Loctite or lock nuts or anything like that. I'm just going to wind them in and then tighten them into the hole a bit. See if I can find a pair of grips. Wind these down and tighten them up. Actually, I don't know why I'm buggering about with a pair of grips, because just over here I've got my Allen keys. Make my life much easier. Not that one, next one up. Get it out. There we go. That's better. Tighten them up nice and tight down to the shoulder and sort of as far as you can go without stripping it. Get it nice and tight. That'll do the job. Now what I'm going to do is whip them down just about 3/4 of an inch, maybe 7/8 of an inch, something like that. Both of them with the disc, and the same for the tops. But I'm going to leave a couple of threads sticking out off the top so that I can rivet the top over, and that'll really stop it going out. That won't go anywhere then. I'm going to stick it up in the vise, see if I can find the angle grinder with the disc on it. Here we go. So, just whip them off about 3/4 of an inch. Doesn't exactly matter, as long as it's somewhere near. The top's off. Going to take any sharp edges off with the flat disc, and then cut yourself and little burrs. Obviously you could unwind them again and tidy them all up and then put them back in, but can't be asked for that. Over to the anvil. I'm just going to start with the ball peen, rivet them out a bit. Do both the same. Flip over to the flat side, give them a good old bosh, and that's that. Not pretty, but they're not going nowhere. Good and tight. So let's go and put it together. Right, I've stuck the point in. I did cut off the grub screw so it didn't catch on anything. And I've left this top piece nice and long so that you can keep sharpening it, but as you'll notice, it's a very minute amount sticking out. In fact, that's probably a bit much. Probably want a bit less because it'll wobble otherwise on your job and it can move your line over. So you really want that as short as possible. So you really want a sort of stubby grind on it. Just give it a go, see how it works. So this is a bit of 40x8 flat that I use quite a lot. Just stick it on there. Give it a little bit of a go. That doesn't look bad to me, but to check, you just put it around the other way. And give it a go the other way, just to make sure. See if I can get the camera so you can see that. There you go. I don't know if you'll be able to make out. It's pretty good, but it's not perfect. And something I've discovered, it binds if you pull it the way you think you should. So it's counterintuitive. You can pull it the opposite way to what you think you would, or obviously push it. And the other thing I think I needed to do was actually make the centre hole for this pin much tighter. I have allowed, it looks more than it is actually there because the point's ground in, but it's slightly bigger, and it's left a little bit of play, and that's just enough to make 2 lines. So I think on the next one I will make that absolutely spot on tight, so that centre pin can't deviate. As I say, I shall take that out and put a stubbier grind on that, but you can see how much play there is in there. But there you go. Thanks for watching.